Questions about EV? Let's talk about that. No, that's copyrighted, isn't it? Breaking news. Nissan and some other companies are getting rid of their combustion engine department and going full electric as of right now. Full electric. Back to your originally scheduled program. Alright, so today we're going to be talking about some common misconceptions about EVs. We're really only going to cover about the stuff here in the United States, so apologies, not other countries. It may affect some other countries, but really I'm just going to cover the stuff here in the US. Let's jump into the limitations and strengths of electric vehicles. And if you guys have seen my other videos, I generally like to talk about the bad things first. So let's go ahead and get into the range. There's no hiding it. I think this is the biggest thing that people have a misconception. Well, not that they have a misconception. It is range. Range is not a very big thing right now. As of the filming of this, the vast majority of EV vehicles that are on the road driving, not pre-production stuff, but stuff that is on the road right now that's been around at least for a few years. Most of them are sub 300. I would even say the majority are right at 250. Ours personally is a 150, range on a good day, unless it's cold, and then it's probably closer to 110, 120. But yeah, again, that's gonna be a downfall. But obviously, new technologies and newer things are coming around, obviously helping to expand that. But that is something that I would say is a limitation currently, but it's getting better, especially with the next thing we're going to talk about is the charging time. So I would say the advantage of having a smaller battery is it doesn't take as much time to charge, but I would say more people would say that this is a con, and I'm going to agree that sitting there and charging is going to be a limitation. You're having to sit there and let it charge, and depending upon where you charge is also going to be a factor, depending upon what rates they charge at. That's going to be a limitation as well. And I hinted at it a little bit before, which is weather. Weather is going to play a big factor on batteries. Whether or not it's nice or cold, it's going to impede on the battery. And there are some that have preconditioning that they can do on the battery, which is good before you go and charge or before you're about to go and use the vehicle and stuff, and that's fine. But some vehicles, personally ours, does not have that. So weather takes an effect on it, and even if it does have preconditioning, it takes electricity to condition it. Charging locations. Yet again, another limitation, not like gas stations. As of January 13th of this year, 2022, according to Statistica, there are about 46,000, just over 46,000 stations and about 113,000 plugs. So each station may have 2 plugs or multiple plugs or something like that. And I mean, honestly, that's actually not too bad. Handsome boy. That's actually quite a bit, considering that gas stations are somewhere in the realm of 111,000, but that was only on an article that I could find from MSN back in 2020. So there could have been a little bit more gas stations, and the article that I read from Statistica actually was saying that the majority of these stations, the majority of them are actually in California. And again, I'll leave those articles in the description. Something else we need to talk about: cost. Not necessarily the cost of charging, because I cover that in another video. You can check that out over there. But the cost, like the initial cost of the vehicle, is still pretty high. They are starting to come down. I believe there was a statistic showing that, and that I don't have. I actually was taking this from another YouTube video, and if I can find it, I'll link that in the description as well. That has talked about that if EVs can hit 36,000, that's a good starting point for more people adopting EVs. If you heard the breaking news, another nice thing is that the car companies are actually seeing the deer in the headlights with recent events, that it's better to probably just go full EV at this point to not rely so much on gasoline. But back to the electric vehicle, they're still kind of expensive. Luckily enough, we got a used one, so the cost of it went down a little bit. And I have talked a little bit about it before, about the cost that I paid for my Ford Escape Hybrid same year was about $33,000, and we paid about 26.5 with taxes and stuff like that. Is probably closer to 28 if we compare it to our Kia Soul that we got, again, same year, 2020. It was only about 19 to 20-ish. So if you kind of think about like the range and the fuel efficiency and stuff like that, yeah, there are still some pretty fuel efficient smaller cars that cost less, but I mean, EVs, even used EVs, are starting to come down pretty good. So, hey, thanks so much for watching up to this point. You came for the cat, didn't you? So we would like to thank you for watching up to this point. I know that this is a lot of information to take in. Hopefully you're enjoying yourself. And we actually have a special surprise.
What are you doing? What? Oh, yeah. Yeah, my extra batteries. Is that how that works? Yeah. This is definitely how it works. I don't think that's how that works. No, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Just for clarification, no, this is not how it works. Please drive responsible and don't be an idiot.
So now that we've covered some of the, I hope you liked the commercial. That was actually pretty funny. That was fun for me too. Now let's move on to the strengths. So let's talk about maintenance. So this is probably going to be one of the common misconceptions is, well, if the battery fails, that's like the entire cost of the vehicle. Well, the likelihood of the battery failing is very, very low. That's like saying that you're going to go buy a car, a regular combustion engine car, and say, well, if the combustion engine fails, that's the whole cost of the car. It's kind of the same. That's kind of my point. I know. And the likelihood of, anyways, so the likelihood of you actually having your engine or battery fail is very low, right? He agrees. And rolling off of maintenance, let's go ahead and talk about moving parts. You don't have a moving combustion engine to move you. You have a motor, but again, the motors have become and are getting more and more efficient every passing year. The fact that the technologies is progressing and it's getting better and more efficient. Because of that, you're not going to be replacing parts left and right. The likelihood of that is very low. So now the cost of fuel, huge gain. And especially now, the cost of electricity hasn't gone up. And I suspect that it's going to go up. But at the rate that gasoline, hi, are you taking this over? Okay, we'll let him know. The cost of, no, he doesn't sound like that. He sounds, meow, that's what cats do. Yeah. And the cost of gasoline is obviously going to go up higher, and diesel. I know, we still have the cat. You came for the cat, didn't you? Yeah, you did. The next thing we're going to be talking about is the environment. That's my notes over there. He's reading my notes, or letting me know that I'm following my notes correctly. He's not. So the next thing would be environment. So how electric vehicles are impacting the environment. Obviously, everybody's heard that, they're good for the environment, that building them even is really good for the environment, and all that jazz. Well, it's true. It's very true. I actually found a website for the Union of Centered Scientists, and I'll link that down in the description as well, that actually talks about that depending upon what state you're in, they list out combustion engine, like what miles per gallon you would need to get to equate the same as running an EV in that state. So the two that I picked was New York. You would need to have a 231 mile per gallon, I don't know of one, to equate to the same as having an electric vehicle. They don't really say which one, but I think they said that it ranges at around 3 to 3.5 kilowatts per hour, which is average. That's about average. And in California, you would need to have 122 mile per gallon to equate to the same as what emissions that an electric vehicle does. So in most states, it's 4 to 7 times the efficiency. And I could go on and on and on. But leave me some of your comments down below. You know, what are some of the things that you're looking forward to with EVs or not looking forward to? What don't you want to get rid of with your combustion engine? Towing capacity. Okay, well, you got me there. Did you not interrupt anymore? Thank you. So efficiency. So we're going to talk about the energy that it takes to move a vehicle. So whether it's electricity or it's gas, whatever, EVs have got this hands down. So let's say we take $1 and it's 13 cents. It's about, the national average is about 13 cents. 13 cents to $1 is 13 kilowatts. And if the average is about 3 kilowatts per mile, then we're looking at about 40 miles for that $1. That's pretty good. Whereas gasoline, that is about, we're going to say that it was about $3.30. So we're giving gasoline the cheaper of the averages. That if we divide that by a vehicle that get 40 miles to the gallon, we're still looking at about 12 miles for $1 for a gasoline. You know, not to mention, you know, the energy that it takes to move the electric vehicle is a lot more efficient. It's anywhere from 78 to up to 90% efficient of the energy that you're giving the battery to propel the vehicle, whereas most combustion engines don't even get 50%. They're closer to like 25 to maybe 40% of the energy that you give it to burn to propel you. That's the most efficient. You can definitely Google search this. Definitely leave a comment below if you find one. But all of the things that I'm seeing, there is no combustion engine that gives more than 50% efficiency. So I know I mentioned charge times is obviously a bad thing, that it takes a while, but I'm actually going to say it's a pro. For me personally, it gives me some time either to read a book. I can call family members that I generally don't have time to normally call. I can catch up on some things. I can take a nap. Who doesn't need a nap during the day? I know the car is probably not the most comfortable, but my point is that I feel that these charging times kind of help us to slow down a little bit and not be so much in a rush. So me, I think personally, I think that it's a good thing to slow down every now and then to help to not be in such a rush for everything. And that's just for me personally. And again, I didn't set out to tell you, hey, EVs are definitely the thing to go. You guys need to do it. Haha, forget gasoline. I just want you guys to understand the EV stuff, because there's a lot of misconceptions. My brother was just telling me about that. He was listening to some people at X, Y, or Z place that he was at that talks about, oh, electric vehicles, they're not going anywhere, they're dumb, they use so much this and whatever. And that was kind of the premise of this video, is to clear up a lot of those misconceptions that electric vehicles are a lot more efficient. They're a lot more savings in the long run. Maybe not necessarily upfront, but they're getting there. Upfront costs are getting cheaper because companies are seeing that it's more cost effective for them to manufacture them and stuff like that. And again, I can't tell you what's best for you. You know what's best for you. But if I can clear up some of these things, I feel like I've done my job.
It's funny that my car doesn't put any pollution noise out. What? I said it's funny that my car doesn't put any pollution out, or noise pollution either. You want to race?
We don't condone racing on the streets. Please drive responsibly.
So thanks again for watching, guys. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. Leave comments below that I mentioned about, everything in the past video. I don't even remember. There's so much stuff. So leave a comment. Thank me for all the stuff that you guys have seen. Let me know what other stuff you'd like to see. I know that there's a lot of stuff to cover with EVs, and I know that there's a lot of videos out there that cover a lot of this stuff, but I feel like obviously this hasn't even hit nowhere near the market that people need to see, because we still keep getting these misconceptions. I mean, as of the recording of this, my brother was telling me this just last night, so I already had this on the agenda to record, but he literally was telling me this last night. So obviously there's not enough exposure to these misconceptions. So share this out with your friends. Let's spread the word and let people get a better understanding of what EVs and hybrids and stuff like that can do, and hopefully not necessarily sway them to it, but at least have a better understanding of what they can do. So again, thanks for watching, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, you know, the whole jazz thing. Just don't smash the subscribe button. I've already had to replace 13 of them already this week. They're not cheap. But thanks again for watching, guys. Stay charged, stay safe. We'll see you next time.